The PS5 looks to be very powerful, and with all the crazy specs that Sony has leaked already, it just goes to show that Sony isn't messing around in this generation of consoles. I'll have more on the story right after the intro. Welcome to News to Astonish, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And today we're going to be talking about the new Sony PS5, or at least we're going to call it that for now. There's no official title on it yet, but Sony has called it the next generation for now. But until then, we're going to call it, for the sake of this article, the PS5. So Sony has leaked some information regarding the next generation of consoles, and I'd like to discuss that with you with this article I found online from the Inquirer. Sony has spilled the beans on the next generation of PlayStation. Let's call it the PlayStation 5. Mark Cerny, the lead architect for PlayStation 4, told Wired that the PS5 will be entirely new hardware platform that will support 8K resolutions, ray tracing, 3D audio, and backwards compatibility to boot. You know, I wasn't really familiar with some of the terms like ray tracing, but for those of you guys who don't know what ray tracing is, it's basically a rendering technique that can produce incredibly realistic lighting effects. So basically, if you ever see video games with really decent lighting coming from, like, let's say things like the sun and light beams and other light sources, and it hits a surface or a source properly, it kind of simulates that realism of lighting. And that's what ray tracing essentially is. It's basically an algorithm that can trace the path of all the lights. And it just simulates that way, where the lights interact with like virtual objects in this case, because it's on a computer. But that's what ray tracing is, and Sony looks like it's going to be nailing down ray tracing at its finest with the PlayStation 5. While the PS4 got a mid-generation refresh in the form of a PS4 Pro, much like the Xbox One with the Xbox One X, there's a big hardware boost on offer with PS5. AMD is returning with a custom chip at the console heart, which will include ray tracing and 3D audio features, and the chip will be based on AMD's 7 nanometer Zen 2 architecture for the processor part and upcoming Navi architecture for the GPU bit. If nothing else, that gives us a little glimpse as to the potential compatibility of upcoming Navi-based Radeon graphics cards. Support for 8K seems like a bit overkill, given that TVs supporting the resolution are hardly prolific. So yes, it's true. There are hardly any TVs supporting that resolution as we speak right now. 4K has become kind of the standard, the norm nowadays, just much as like the HD has been the standard for so many years. But now 4K is very, very commonplace in these days, and they're mostly affordable. So you can go out and buy yourself a 4K television, super affordable. You can get one as cheap as like $250. Not gonna lie, awesome stuff. But for a console to be loaded with 8K compatibility is quite the overkill, but I can see that this is a good thing because Sony is actually future-proofing the console, because 8K, as a matter of fact, will become standard and it'll become the norm. It's going to become really, really commonplace to have 8K devices. I mean, we're already starting to see that already in stores with some of our cameras and some of our televisions. Hell, my camera can support 6K resolution. It basically takes my video footage that I'm recording right now and records it to 6K, and it's downscaled to 4K when I upload it. That's crazy. Like, that's just incredible. But 8K doesn't seem so far-fetched nowadays, since technology is rapidly evolving. A less exciting but useful part of the PS5 will be the switch from spinning hard disks to SSD storage, which should promise much faster load times, a boon for large open worlds. I mean, I don't find it less exciting. I find it very exciting to go to SSD. But if the consoles go all to SSD only, that means the price is going to be racked up. There was no clear word on virtual reality support or any of the special features, but that might not matter for many PlayStation fans, especially as the PS4 was a very gaming-focused machine rather than an overall entertainment device, and it has sold very well indeed. So far, the PS5 is shaping up to be a rather interesting powerhouse of a console. I do agree indeed. But there could be an argument that the need for such a new console hardware is diminishing with the impressive-looking streaming services like Microsoft xCloud and Google Stadia on the horizon. So, what are your thoughts, basically? I mean, how do you think the PS5 is going to turn out to be? And let's just call it that, the PS5. And how do you think the Xbox next generation is going to be like? I'm pretty sure Sony and Microsoft has learned a lot of lessons from their last release of the last generation, hence the PS4 and Xbox One. When they came out, they were seriously underpowered. Hell, the Xbox One couldn't even support full 1080p. That was 2013, a time where 1080p had already been commonplace, and it had been commonplace so for years at that time. We're in 2019 now, and you can be damn sure that these consoles will be supporting 1080p, of course, and 4K. But Sony and Microsoft have definitely learned a lot of lessons from that point on and have made it a focus to make their future consoles the best that it can be. And I really hope so, because honestly, I personally love great and stiff competition. I love it when two major tech titans are competing and they're right there neck and neck with each other with great products, making us, the consumer, wanting to be in that mindset of having to decide, what should I get? Oh my God, I really want them both. They're both incredible devices. That's what we want to do. We don't want to bash these tech giants. We don't want to bash their technology that they're releasing out for the consumers, hence us, the consumers. But I'm really proud that Sony and Microsoft, these tech giants, again, are listening to the consumers. They're being consumer friendly, and they're putting in a lot of work and making sure that they're releasing the best consoles that they can release. So you let me know your thoughts about these specs on the new Sony PS5. What are your theories? What do you think the next generation of consoles should be like regarding specs, how it should look? You let me know down below, and what are you most excited about? And you know what? I'm actually going to do an E3 theories video pretty soon, shortly before the month of June, of course. Don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but there is a lot to be looking forward to. And do you think that Sony's actually going to announce the next generation of consoles at E3? You let me know your thoughts. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next comic panel.